Riverside.
That's how we're doing it today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back and we missed you. It's your boy Fancy Trash Can sitting next to, as always, Captain Boring. It's the 4th and 1 podcast. Brought to you by you guys, the fans, anchor.fm/4th and 1. And it is Valentine's Day. Happy Mom Day for us.
Our mom's birthday's today. Happy birthday, Mom.
So it's a Mom Day. And hope
I
you
am
guys
Duke's, I'm Duke's Valentine, so you can't be...
Very good to know.
Yeah.
Not his mom?
Mm-hmm.
Not
I'm sorry. Duke is my Valentine, but Mom is his Valentine. Yes, his mother. Duke's mother is his Valentine.
Got it. Duke's adopted mother is his Valentine. All right. Well, we're many weeks into the college football season. We're 2 days without any type of football overall. It's 2 more weeks into technically now 12 days until the USFL kicks off, I believe, is when that was. I thought it was 2 weeks after the Super Bowl.
I think it's 8 weeks until the USFL, but I think it's only 2 weeks until the XFL.
2 months, got it, is what I was just seeing all the Fox commercials and sort of things. So
yes. XFL starts this weekend.
Oh, it starts this weekend. This Sunday?
Saturday.
This Saturday. Yeah, I was going to say, they're not, because that's a Fox thing, right? The XFL is also Fox, right?
Fox and ESPN.
Okay, because I knew Fox wasn't going to, what's the word I'm looking for, schedule against the Daytona 500, for those of you who are from the
right.
South.
Yes.
Here. So, yeah, the Super Bowl. Makai, you watched that down in Virginia.
Yep. Sure did.
Did you hate the blown call at the end, too, that ruined the game?
Well, I told everyone going into the game that I thought it was going to be one of the best Super Bowls. It was going to be an all-time Super Bowl, and I was right. From kickoff to the halftime show to the end of the game, it was one of the best. What?
I watched most of the halftime show.
Yeah.
I'm very confused on why you think that was one of the best halftime shows. Visually, it was one of the best halftime shows, for sure.
Because it was... Okay, so I'm not a big fan of the theatrics that surrounds football. Okay? And so it wasn't like... It was just Rihanna singing her hits, not scantily clad, and... It was just dance move. She sung all the hits, and she got off stage.
She waddled around. I really
she waddled around. I don't
dancing.
care. I don't care. But if I would have told you 10 years ago, Simeon, if I would have came to you and said, Simeon, in 10 years, Rihanna is going to be the safe choice for the Super Bowl halftime show to not be preach any anything on the side or anything like that. Just come up, dance, not be scantily clad, and just sing her hits and then get off. Would you have believed me? Because the answer is no.
No.
The blown call. Technically, it was a hold. I just hate how the refs didn't insert themselves into the game at all, and then at the end they did, and it was very annoying.
Yeah, that was about the one thing I could be annoyed about. And, the Philly player said that it was a hold, and sure, but at the same exact time, no, because he didn't impede himself. He didn't impede progress to the ball. I don't know if that's the correct terminology. But, first of all, the ball was overthrown. Not that matters. But he didn't even impede it over it. So, I don't know. Put your big boy pants on, Patrick Mahomes. Stop pointing and complaining. And you won the game anyway. So
well, I mean, that wasn't the reason the Eagles lost. The Eagles lost because their run defense just couldn't stop anybody.
Well, and they also couldn't get any pressure on Patrick Mahomes. They forgot that Travis Kelce existed. And last but not least, they didn't push a guy into the end zone when they should have and could have, which would have given them the ball back with more time.
It was a very clear evidence on one team had been there before and the other team had not.
Yeah,
right?
And you know what? That's fair, but it was still was that I forget what the final score was, but if it was over 40 points, that was the highest scoring Super Bowl in Super Bowl history.
It was 35-38 was the final.
So, yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, because 33-41 was Eagles-Patriots, so that would have been 74 combined points. So this would have been 73 combined points. So just missed it, I think. Jalen Hurts was outstanding, though. I think that's getting lost with just how good he was. And this is surprising everyone. I was kind of watching Colin Cowherd earlier today, and he was like, well, Jalen Hurts, like, the whole team was good. The offensive line was good. Patrick Mahomes. And so he just couldn't mess up. And that's what Jalen Hurts didn't do, mess up, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, but Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't have a good number one. He's got three rookies. He got three rookies on the offensive line. He's got four rookie corners in the secondary, and he carried that team to victory. I'm like, but Jalen Hurts just wins football games. He won at Alabama, it was 26-2, and then got replaced by Tua. Then went to Oklahoma, lost one game, and then only got beat by the greatest college football team of all time, probably in the Joe Burrow LSU team.
Sure.
And ever since he came into the league, all he's done is win football games. I mean, he has lost now 2 games that he's started in the last 2 years. Or in the last 18 starts or something like that. He's lost 2 games. I'm sure it's up to 20-something now, including postseason. But I'm kind of aggravated because even Patrick Mahomes came out and said that he's a great player and there should be no doubt about his skills anymore.
I think this, and especially the Super Bowl, because he no offense to Jalen Hurts, he didn't really necessarily look when I saw him plays, he wasn't poised. What is this, his 3rd season now? Yeah. He wasn't necessarily as poised and as comfortable the first 2 seasons. He started to look a lot more comfortable this season. And up until literally the final throw, he looked fantastic.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I don't know if his arm got hit or if the ball got hit or what. I didn't see
Listen,
it
wasn't
landed
going to do anything anyway.
Short.
Yeah, it wasn't going to do anything anyway. So I wouldn't blame him, even if it's he still. It's not like he had the strongest arm. And I'm sorry, I'm not fighting something off. My chest is still getting over something. It's not like he had the strongest arm to begin with. So the fact that he had to chuck it basically 80 yards was, a little bit ridiculous. So I don't blame him at all. He looked great. I think he's top flight. If he does it again next year, which they're losing their defensive coordinator, which at the end of the day is probably not the worst thing in the world for them.
And offensive coordinator.
They are?
They're losing both.
That.
Yeah, he's taking. So one's taking the defensive coordinator's taking
the Cardinals' job,
and the offensive coordinator is taking the Colts' job. So Colts and Eagles are just trading coaches. That's all they're doing.
Bring in the Carolina Panthers, and we'll get there completely. By the way, for those of you wondering, Super Bowl 29, which was the Joe Montana, Jerry Rice 49ers team versus, is that John Elway? No, that's 55 point. Anyway, sorry. Oh, the Chargers for 75 points.
Oh, okay. So they were right there.
So that was a 49-26 win for the
49ers.
49ers, and it was a 38-35, which puts you at, there was 3 points under.
They had 73 points. 73 points.
2 points under. Thank you for doing that calculation. So, anyway, great job by the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Andy Reid says he's not done yet.
I think this puts Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's already had a Hall of Fame career, and he's only 5 years in.
100%. Sorry, that was weird. My screen decided to flicker. He's had a Hall of Fame career. I think this puts Andy Reid up there as one of the greatest coaches now
of all time. Yeah,
of all time.
I would say.
I still think Nick Saban and Bill Belichick are above him. And for that matter, I think he's on par with John Madden at this point right now.
Probably. Also,
Just because John
his
Madden won so many games.
Well, John Madden won so many games, but then he also, like, offensively, he progressed football. And I think when you look at the greatest of all time in anything, it's whether they progress the sport at all. And Andy Reid Andy Reid was like the West Coast don't run the football a lot. And then when Patrick Mahomes came in, he invented this West Coast air raid system where it's basically the college air raid in a pro style offense.
Which, for the record, they still ran the ball a lot and successfully,
yes.
Especially at least in the Super Bowl. So it's not like they're not running the ball, but they did a lot of shift plays. I forget who was doing that. Was that the Kyle Shanahan? Who was moving? There was a lot of movement on the line. Well, that's just a new thing.
Well,
there was 2 touchdowns.
A lot of motion.
Was run one guy this way and then run him back.
And Steve Sarkisian did that a lot with Devontae Smith. That was Devontae Smith pretty much the entire first half of the national championship game against Ohio. They just put him in motion, and then they would be in man coverage, and he would stop, and he would just turn around, and because he was faster than everyone at the time, he would just win every matchup. So it's a big kind of Kyle Shanahan, Steve Sarkisian, kind of that sort of system.
We even saw that out of Michigan this year too.
Yeah. I mean, they're man beaters, and so when you get a lot of man coverage, if you get the matchup you want, you get them flown one way, and then they just turn around and go the other.
It's interesting. It was good to see, and you're 100% right. He's done this, mind you, with... He was fired under Michael Vick. So he's done this with 4 quarterbacks. Now he's had backups and stuff under them.
Right.
But he's built his career with 4 quarterbacks.
McNabb, Vick,
yep,
Alex Smith, and now Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Now, there were other guys in there.
Sure.
Injuries and that sort of stuff.
His legacy, and he really... he was always a good play caller when he was in Philly, but he really didn't develop or hit his stride until he was in his mid to late 50s, right? The last 10 years of his career have really been because he's 65 now, and even the last 5, ever since Patrick Mahomes got there. But really, the last 10 years of his career is really when he has taken off. So, when did Brett Favre enter the league? Do you know roughly? Oh, dude, I don't know. Early 90s, maybe?
I want to say. So he was Brett Favre's.
Right. Correct.
Which is another thing that I forgot about. Excuse me again. 2012. That wouldn't have been Michael Vick. I don't think so.
2012 would have been Michael Vick. Yes, he only got like 2 seasons with Michael or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Before he went over. Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at his Wikipedia page. He obviously went to BYU. Was a graduate assistant. San Francisco State for 2 years. Northern Arizona. Offensive line coach, basically until he got to the Green Bay Packers. So he was Northern Arizona, UTEP, Missouri, Green Bay Packers when he was the assistant offensive line and tight ends coach, which probably is why Travis Kelce exists. and then the Green Bay Packers, which the dude had a game. I'm sorry, Patrick Mahomes, he did nothing. Travis Kelce and Juju Smith-Schuster carried that entire game.
Well, that's how it's been all year. The Chiefs have one guy to scheme to get open, and it's Travis Kelce, and he caught the ball for like 117 times. Like, how do you let the only guy on the field that you have to guard get open again and again and again? Right?
That's the funny thing. And the second funny thing is he still did not throw for 2. I had a parlay bet going. He didn't throw for 225 yards, and he did not. He only threw for 210, and they still won the Super Bowl, which just goes to show you that they also mixed in the running game.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I was set up to win like $70 or something like that because every one of them hit except for Patrick Mahomes over 220.
Yep. Travis Kelce had it in the first. Sorry for coughing. Had it in the first half. So
the first quarter, yeah. Jalen Hurts had his in the first half, all locked up. Yeah, it was. Thanks Thanks NFL for
think
ruining another. I'm just kidding. It was.
I mean, you're not wrong. Thanks NFL for ruining another great Super Bowl, because of the refs. I'm not going to let that live that down. It's kind of like how JT was short. At the end of the day,
yeah. I just.
I'm not even that much of an Eagles fan. I'm more just angry because that's how the game was decided.
The NFL right now, yeah, you were
talking
agree.
about. We were joking earlier over text message about scripting games. The NFL wanted. I guess that ref had money on the Chiefs because
they just should go to full-time refs. Like, it's such an easy fix. Like, right now, the NFL always has an out with, we'll up education for the refs and we'll do this and we'll do it. Just go to full-time referees and get it over with. Because I think it would go to expedited interviews, put another ref in the stadium to correct egregious mistakes. Now, the guy for Fox, Mike Pereira, said that it was a hold, and James Bradbury said it was a hold, which it was technically. But why throw it? Like, the Chiefs are already going to get the field goal.
Tight end is saying he doesn't think it was a hold. A dude who held everybody.
Yeah. Greg, I know Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen was a blocker.
No, Greg Olsen said that by the book, yes, it was a hold. He just doesn't like the call in that spot. And I think that's what I'm having a hard time about. You can't throw it there. The Chiefs are getting a field goal anyway. And it's not like you saw him pull like a long part of the jersey. It was at the line of scrimmage, and it was... they've probably been doing that all game. So why throw the flag? Just let them play.
I think even another thing of like it was he didn't impede him getting to the football. Like, even if the ball was thrown correctly, which, sorry, Pat, I bet your ankle feels great, by the way. That's sarcasm. That thing probably was swollen 2 or 3 times its size the day after.
Some old Toradol in there.
Oh, my gosh. The dude must have been blazing on Toradol. Even if the ball was thrown perfectly, he still wouldn't have gotten to it, and it wasn't because of the hold. It was because of the route that he ran. He ran a cut in, and then he put a double move on top of that.
Well, right. It was a little like dig route in there, which they had run for the 2 previous touchdowns that were so wide open. So the Eagles finally put a corner on there, and it finally like paid off. But I don't know, and that's why the flags exist, because you don't know whether or not it would have worked. Would have been interesting. I would have liked to see Jalen Hurts with 1:30 to go, try to move down, go for a field goal, and then go to overtime, because then it would have been the best Super Bowl ever.
So it's kind of speaking of the refs, which I would have loved that too. Do you think the NFL is going to somehow kill the 1-yard sneak?
Yeah, that's amazing how good the Eagles are at it. Right?
You literally defined it. This is they figured out how to snap the ball and fall over.
Yeah,
that's what they figured out how to do, which is basically Jason Kelce just pushing the guy in front of him.
Yeah,
and either A.J. Brown or Dallas Goedert pushing, literally just shoving a grown-ass man over Travis Kelce.
Well,
Jason.
I don't have a problem with it. Defenses just need to line up and do the exact same thing, right? So they're all spin-offs. So I
don't have any problem with it.
Pinch in your nose tackle and have your linebackers push your nose tackle people forward, and then, I mean, and it's a very close play. I mean, you saw one guy try to go over the top against Jalen Hurts and grab him up top, but that didn't work. Then you saw them try to go low. I mean, there were a few times where they almost didn't get it, and it's not perfect, but I really hope they don't outlaw it. It used to be outlawed until like 2005.
It was the Bush push.
The Bush push, yes.
Yeah, because that's if Bush is not allowed to push, there is no touchdown. There is no sneak. There isn't Jalen Hurts having all of the touchdowns.
There is in USC and Texas that year. Yeah.
No, there's also that. Okay. Can we go on to beat some more dead horses here? I got
sure. Why not?
Off the top of my head.
Yeah.
More news on Matt Weiss.
Oh.
Because, I'm beating this dead horse.
All right.
They fired a dude for no reason.
Is that what you got out of that?
Literally, it says, because you did not attend this meeting and offered any additional information, we are making our decision based on the evidence that we have. Your appointment has been terminated with cause, which I don't know why they said appointment and not job or position.
Well, because he's appointed to be the offensive coordinator, probably, but whatever.
This inappropriate acts, as someone who understands this, unless he comes out and was like, yeah, I was watching porn on other guys' accounts so I wouldn't get in trouble, or was something that egregious, right? Something that is a hard no-no. I was downloading malware using other people's accounts.
Right.
This is such BS to me.
Well, yeah, but...
screams of Ward Manuel. I'm sorry. It screams of Ward Manuel not being happy about Jim Harbaugh, so he fired his offensive coordinator.
No, that's exactly what that is. Yes. Yeah, no, and we touched on this, that it felt like Ward Manuel needed some reason to get back at Jim Harbaugh for going over his head, and President Ono going over his head to get this deal done that still isn't done, but I'm sure is in the works, and they're just waiting for the NCAA to get on with it or not do anything about it, about the Jim Harbaugh situation. But that's exactly what this is. For you to fire someone, yes, he broke, and I'll take your word for it, yes, he broke the school code and conduct or whatever, but to fire someone just because they didn't show up to the appointment, like, come on. Like, really?
Well, normally, now, as someone who's been fired too many times to count, normally there's other notifications before that. I don't know what Michigan state law is regarding that, but you're not getting fired the first time without some sort of notification which their notification would be, hey, we're having a meeting to discuss your appointment because we should fire you right now. That could be the first
It just seems like if it was something like super serious, as you put out, like him downloading malware or some notorious scheme that he had going, that Michigan would have put that out right away. And not the best that they could do is that he didn't show up to his hearing about this. Or I don't even know if it was a hearing, but I mean, yes, obviously if it's you need to show up to this or you because you may be terminated, like, yeah, Matt Weiss show up for that, but maybe Jim Harbaugh was like, Ward's playing a game, you're going to be fired anyway, so you might as well not go, get your things in order, and they're just going to fire you anyway. So, I don't know. It seems like a big game that everyone's just deciding to play in the Michigan administration, and I don't know why. You should have been in the national championship game. You were in the college football playoff, just beat Ohio State back-to-back years, and you got them at home again, and you got everything set up. Your schedule's easy. You got McCarthy and Corum coming back and all these seniors, the offensive line. Come on. Like, get it together. Get it under wraps. Focus on football. Spring ball's right around the corner.
I saw F&M practicing this weekend.
In 6 weeks, it's the Michigan spring game, I'm pretty sure. So, Michigan, get it together. Button it down. Move on. Get going. Look forward to 2023.
I'm just going to leave that at that. One of the things that I noticed, and I wanted to this is one of the things I wanted to bring up because I had texted you that two incoming PSU players were given, as part of their NIL deal, were given Teslas for
committing.
Mm-hmm. And you and I have been harking on the NIL since it came out. You know that I am someone who is staunchly either go back to what it was and just say screw it and make the game worse, for lack of a better term, or regulate it or go private. One of the three. Either turn it into a business or regulate it. You have to do one or the other, and you have to do it now because we're going one way or another. I personally called the fact that it's going private. I still think that's going to happen because the NCAA has done nothing to regulate it. But we saw it again with a $13 million basically bogus fake contract for the Florida guy who ended up going to ASU. You talked about that a little bit. I'm bringing it back up because, like, the NCAA isn't doing anything.
Well, and I think what we mostly talked about is that even with these deals, there's no incentives for the kids to stay, right? Like, your point was, yes, these two kids got Teslas. And if they transfer or if they leave early, they have to stay all 4 years to keep the car after they graduate. If they leave early for the NFL draft, or if they like don't graduate and they transfer, they have to give the car back. Well, if they transfer, they're probably going to rack up some deal where they can just buy themselves a Tesla. Or if they leave for the NFL, they're going to have enough money to buy a Tesla anyway. Right? So, like, there's still no incentive for these kids to stay. There has to be something, and Robert, I think, has the best plan of anyone I've talked to where you only get to do NIL one time. You can transfer, but NIL cannot come into the picture once you transfer. If you want to graduate and become a graduate transfer, then NIL can come back into the fold, kind of like Jalen Hurts did from Alabama to Oklahoma, kind of like Cade McNamara did from Michigan to Iowa. There are those guys who will graduate in 3 years, then transfer as a graduate, and then I think they should be eligible for NIL. But if you have these freshmen coming in, signing whatever, a $500,000 deal, and then they don't get playing time, so they get angry and want to transfer again, they shouldn't get. First of all, they don't have to sit and wait a year. That should be the reward. They should not get NIL again. They should have to, however that contract's end, pay it back or whatever, and then they shouldn't get NIL again. And I think that's another way you can regulate it. But as you pointed out, the NCAA is not doing anything. These conferences aren't going to do anything because the conferences don't want to hurt themselves in winning championships, which will relate to TV contracts, right? So the conferences aren't going to do anything. The schools aren't going to do anything because that will prohibit them from winning national championships, which is good on the conference, which, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so you're left with no one's doing anything. These kids are just getting offered these great on paper deals that turn out to be not so great, and then sign for all this money and then transfer, get to keep all the money, and then sign for more money at this new school. It's a big headache that needs regulation.
So I just in order to Google this, and this is still brand new, to use a buzzword, this is a lot like ChatGPT right now. No one knows where it's going. This is a lot like artificial intelligence, basically.
What'd you just say?
ChatGPT?
Yeah, what's that? Am I supposed to know what that is, or is that an IT term?
Tell me you live in a cave without telling me you live in a cave.
Okay, I live in a cave.
You haven't heard of ChatGPT, artificial intelligence?
No, wait. Let me guess. ChatGPT. It's a new social media website.
Nope.
It's a new way to communicate.
In a way, kind of.
It's a new, I think the chat's throwing GPT.
I have no idea what the GPT is for.
Graphics, people.
I'm actually curious now.
Technical.
Right.
Like, okay, what is it?
ChatGPT. I have to figure out a way to explain this. I don't even know what the GPT stands
Okay, there's
for.
no way. Okay. Like this video, if you knew what ChatGPT is before Simeon explained it.
Listen, the people who listen to this will know what ChatGPT is.
I guarantee you they won't.
All right. ChatGPT, chat generative pre-trained transformer. Basically what it does is you go to it, write me an essay, a 5,000 word essay on the effects of global warming in southeastern Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And it will write you a 5,000 word essay on exactly what it says. It will you tell it what to do.
So someone created something in order to have college students cheat so they can just go to college and party more?
This is a $29 billion valuation. Microsoft, how much? Let's see. I forget how much Microsoft bought.
But no one's going to learn anything.
This was
if I can just go.
This was actually a very interesting topic. I was listening to Joe Rogan. Yeah. This week, and he had on two independent news people from YouTube, and I'm forgetting their names, and it's not that big of a deal. They were talking about this, and they were talking about how a university, and I'd be interested, Uncle Kevin, if you're listening, please drop it down on how you're gonna deal with this.
He doesn't even know what ChatGPT is. Come on.
I guarantee you he does, because his students will use it. So let me finish explaining. There's an entrepreneur professor in UPenn who will be requiring his students to use it. They'll be using it in order to make better. There are people who are going to oral examinations instead of, so professor, what do you know about X, Y, and Z?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Student, this is what I know about X, Y, and Z.
I know. I don't live that under a rock. I know what oral
you know what?
exam,
You don't know what
is.
ChatGPT is. So, and I am...
Listen, and this wasn't one of those things where it's like, oh, maybe I heard about it, on a commercial or something. That was the first time I had heard chat and then those three letters used together in a sentence in my 28 years of living. But what I don't understand is, especially that one professor that's going to require his kids to use it, right? Yep. If you can just go to an essay or this, whatever this is, website, what do you pay? A subscription?
Probably. They have $1 billion with a B dollars in revenue by... They're projected to have that.
Okay, so I can just go and pay, $50 for them to write my 12-page term paper on how nursing ratios are killing the healthcare system, right? Mm-hmm. Or something like that, and just type in whatever. How does that help me learn anything?
How does that help you learn anything?
Right.
It doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but Micaiah,
so now we're stuck in this.
As someone who, you and I both went to a liberal arts school, granted you were for a full 2 semesters, I was for 2 years. You know how much bogus work and bogus classes we had to do.
I understand that, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't use it or have used it or will use it or whatever. Whatever the good tense is to use there. What I'm saying is we're now... Would you say society is dumber now or smarter now than it was?
Smarter.
Okay. It's smarter, but are we making the same mistakes, or are we seeing a mistake that we've made in the past and then doing something else? We're making the same mistakes. I'll answer it for you.
No.
Not in every situation. No, but we are.
We're making similar mistakes. It's less of a circle and more of a mirror.
Okay, less of a circle, more of a mirror. That's fine. But if I have to write this paper on nursing, right? Like, I would normally have to do all the research for it, look up all the research articles, do this, et cetera, and I would actually learn something. I would learn that, 40% of nurses are leaving the profession because of the staffing ratios, or 39 or whatever. Now I just have those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. Well, now you can just get a computer program to write your history paper for you, so you're not even learning history in order to forget it to repeat it. So now you're definitely going to repeat history. I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Not necessarily, because humans are also extremely adaptable, to go off of the Joe Rogan podcast and what I agree to them. I'm currently having ChatGPT write me a paragraph. We're just going to go ahead and share my screen for those of you watching.
Okay.
Over the negatives of name, image, and likeness deals. Oh, and I'm sharing my entire screen right now. Hold on, sorry.
Hello.
Yeah. Let me share just my one window.
I was kind of fascinated by looking back at myself. Okay.
Yeah. Name, image, and likeness (NIL) deals have been a topic of discussion in the world.
So you
of
did
sports
this
for
in
some time now.
You did this in 2 minutes.
This was my prompt. I signed up for it and wrote this prompt.
Right, in 2 minutes. So as I was going on and sounding like the old man I am, you did this. Go ahead.
Correct. So name, image, and likeness deals. I asked it to write me a paragraph about the negatives of name, image, and likeness deals.
Yeah.
So this is what it gave me. Name, image, and likeness deals, NIL deals, have been a topic of discussion in the world of sports for some time now. While these deals provide college athletes with the opportunity for profit from their own image, they also come with several negatives. For starters, the focus on NIL deals may shift players' priorities away from their academic responsibilities, affecting their performance in the classroom. Additionally, NIL deals may create divisions within teams. I didn't even think about that.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. This thing apparently can write code.
Oh,
so I can be
and then the last sentence. Finally, there is a risk that the NIL deals may be exploited by the unscrupulous agents or companies, leading to financial loss or reputational damage for the athletes.
Yeah. So go over,
this is cool, but you can't see Can't you see the downside of this staring you right in the face?
No, so here's. No, because we're adaptable. We're always going to adapt, okay? Marty just checks for spills. Sometimes he escapes from Giant, then we go and we pick him up and we put him back in. And I feel like we have to explain that, but we're not going to. We're going to leave that unexplained. Excuse me. For the sake of ChatGPT, let's say you and I wanted press credentials for a Michigan game, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the stipulation for press credentials is. I could make a website and go back and have ChatGPT write articles regarding every single topic that we covered. Create a website, post the articles, backdate them to when we release them, do some SEO crap, which you don't have to know what that means, and all of a sudden we've been a legitimate news source. And for the record, this is perfectly good points, which brought up some of the stuff that we did.
Will it do research for you and cite for you?
That I don't know, but I mean, the fact that I don't have to word vomit a page and then edit and then edit and then edit and then edit. And granted, like for practical use, and I know we're talking about ChatGPT, this has nothing to do with college sports.
No, it doesn't at all, but that's all right.
But from like a work perspective, I can probably ask it to script things for me in PowerShell and help it do my job.
I understand the uses and the benefits for it.
Right. What is the negative? Basically, a bunch of grunt workers lose their jobs.
I didn't even think about it, but I'm thinking about. And I'm gonna sound.
I didn't expect us to go on this tangent.
I'm going to sound like a 65-year-old man. Okay, you ready for this? I'm going to sound like a 65-year-old man. There is something to be said about the hard, agonizing, long work that you got to do to get through life, right? If you listen to my Tom Brady episode, my farewell to Tom Brady,
which was fantastic, by the way. That's some of your best podcasting ever.
Well, thank you. I talked about the daily grit and grind that sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And when you have an option that takes away the option to do what you don't want to do, people are going to take that more likely than not. And then society becomes lazier.
Except it also weeds out the lazy people who are already going to be lazy, in my opinion. I'm going to flip this on its head. If you're going to be lazy enough and live by an artificial intelligence, have fun. I'm not supporting you while you do it. But what it does is it will free up the people who want to use it and have a legitimate reason to use it from doing this or that or whatever the case is. I mean, BuzzFeed laid off a bunch of people and is having ChatGPT write their listicles. 90% of their listicles. I saw a script SEO marketing person who uses it to do the bulk of her work, and then she goes and edits it to make it better. And before posting them, there are stuff like that where
it's a very helpful tool, but it's a very powerful, helpful tool.
You can kill somebody with a hoe, Micaiah, but that's not what most people use it for.
But most people are going to use it to get out of doing legitimate work. Which the BuzzFeed
For now.
which the BuzzFeed article and things like that are fine. Like, because half those articles no one cares about. They're all clickbait. They only get paid if you click on them. So they're using this software in order to enhance the company, right? Like, why pay? It's kind of like if you get rid of the cashiers at McDonald's and you just have the order screen, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same premise there. I understand that. But I'm just saying that when you introduce these powerful tools to society, more often than not, especially of late, things tend to go very wrong in a short period of time. And I'm not talking over the next 2 years. I'm talking in the next 10 years, CPT will become, or ChatGPT will become this huge... what did I say? CPT? I don't even care. See, that's how much. And again, I would use it if I was in college now, for sure, because it's a shortcut. But that's all it is to me. And when a shortcut is the next big thing, then I'm not exactly thrilled about that idea, I guess. It's very complicated in my mind. I mean, you can see the millennial and the Gen Z between us, I guess.
I just have to show this. So you can see it going right now. And it's telling me what to do. It's not perfect, but it would get there. It would get it for me.
So what? Are you
I asked it to do something that I would find that I would need to do in my job. Which is changing calendar permissions on a user. So visibility calendar permissions. And I asked it to script it for me. And here it is, basically scripted out for the amount of information that I gave it. I could have given it more information and it would have scripted it better. And then here, excuse me, here's the the command lit is what it's called, that I would use. And here's all the information. Do you know how useful this would be for me? Someone who's
absolutely
really good at system administration, but sucks at scripting because he has no official.
You're so awesome. You've been fired 3 times.
I have no official training. Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, again, very useful. I'm just weird. I'm a 65-year-old man. I'm just very weary of the implications that this has on society.
This isn't going to take your job.
No.
Your society isn't going to be affected by this.
But I'm not concerned about me.
No, I'm saying the society that you live in, that you as a person, is not going to be affected. This isn't the end of the world.
No, but I'm not saying it is. All I'm saying is that in general...
It's not going to make people lazier than they already are. Lazy is binary. It's not a percentage.
No. This will make people inherently lazier than what they are.
You and I disagree about this right now. Now I'm going to get philosophical on your ass. You're either lazy or you're not. Or you're lazy in situations or you're not. You can't be more lazy than you already are.
So
right?
what?
The quote is always
this just helps people achieve the laziness that they would if they didn't have to do anything at all?
If you're lazy and you want to use this to do all of your work, you will do it. If you are not lazy, you will help it do some of your work so that you can be better. A better person, a better writer, because at the end of in theory, you learned all the basics of grammar graduating high school. Let's hope. I know I did.
I know I did not. No, I did not.
But
I mean, I probably did.
If we went to a public school, we probably would have, right? So we understand the basics of grammar. I know you know how to write a paper. I know I had to know how to write a paper. But at the end of the day, if this can save me time in spitting out 1,000 words, 600 words, whatever, on a topic, and then I can go back to it and edit it into my voice, maybe change some of the points or edit it into my points, go find citations and put them in and that sort of stuff. It allows me as a person who's like, I'm going to use this to do the grunt work that I don't want to have time for, don't need to have time for. And I can go be better. I can spend more time on citation. I can't tell you how many times I wrote a paper and then looked for citations for it. instead of vice versa,
Well,
which is how it's supposed to be.
well, yeah. First of all, you did it wrong, so maybe that's one. But
What do you mean I did it wrong? I graduated.
Okay, true. There's no one way to skin a cat, right? That's what Mom would always say. Correct. But the easier way would have been look for the articles, then write your paper.
Sure, and I can do that. I can still look for the articles and say, use these 3 articles to write a paper for me.
I'm just not sure that I can get on board with you're either lazy or you're not. That's like saying you're either 100% lazy or you're not, and this will just help you achieve the 100%.
No. I'm saying binary. When I say it's there's an on-off switch, but the flow going into the power coming into the circuit may still change, if that makes sense. You're either lazy or you're not, but you might be more lazy on this one thing and less lazy on something else. But a non-lazy person will be not lazy about that specific topic. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't, but that's all right.
Okay, there are different shades of gray, but they still both make black and white.
Okay, don't even get me started on the different shades of white and gray, because it's all the same. 100%.
Are you
just
thinking of
triggered
repainting
me.
a room? I'm sensing the fact that you guys might be repainting something.
No, we're not even thinking about repainting, but when people be like, I like this white instead of this white, it's white. Just pick the color. And they're like, no, look, it looks different. It's white. Just pick a color. No, and the thing that gets me is, no one's going to care! No one's going to be like, oh!
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
You know what? I'm just going to go, I'm going to sell myself really hard into this whole radio...
Laziness discussion?
No, radio persona of being 65 years old.
Okay. You know what? We already all knew that was the case.
Well, now I'm just really hard. I'm going
As your
for it.
game is literally Captain Boring.
I'm not boring. I just think about the
Yes,
world
you
in
are!
a much different way. I'm not.
You just...
I'm in a Madden franchise with 2 other people.
Should I...
And I won the
Should I ask
Super Bowl.
ChatGPT how to win a Madden franchise?
No, because I did already. I already won the Super Bowl. I mean, I have...
Did you win any money?
Well, it's just me and Roberto. And
No
Roberto's
one
friend.
cares!
Why you gotta do me like that? Why you gotta do me like that? No one cares about ChatGPT. No one's heard about it.
That's not true at all. Okay.
You know what? You know what?
Microsoft.
You know what? Someone's gonna be sitting. Who's ever guarding the nuclear bunker is gonna sit there and be like, "Guard nuclear bunker for me," and type that into ChatGPT, and then get up and go to the gym. And then someone's gonna sneak in and launch a nuke, and then the world's gonna end. That's how it's gonna. No, that's how it's gonna work. 100%. That's what it's going to divulge into, because then it's going to come into robots, and then someone's going to program a robot to sit on guard, and then a robot's going to malfunction, and that's what happened. That's how the world ends. Micaiah predicted ChatGPT.
So we're just going to leave that there.
Downfall of mankind.
We're going to move over to the...
We don't have to move over. We can just end the episode. That's
We're
fine.
not, because there is one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
And it's more your comments. Funny enough, the ESPN article about Matt Weiss, if you scroll down, it says sources. Akron extends head coach Joel Moorhead through 2027.
Oh, good for Joe Moorhead and Akron. And
we luckily are related, or maybe unluckily, who knows.
Depending on how you look at it.
Depending on how you look at it, to a University of Akron professor. Dr. Kev1 comments frequently on our videos. Thank you and shout out to Dr. Kev. Looks like he was writing a book. He probably did not use ChatGPT in order to do so.
See? And I bet you it's going to be pretty great.
His books are tough reads. Maybe this one's going to be a little bit easier.
So are you saying he should use ChatGPT? Maybe Uncle
Uncle
Kevin's
Kevin
really angry that ChatGPT didn't exist until like when did it even pop onto the scene?
At the end of last year.
Oh, so maybe he's angry.
It's brand spanking new.
So maybe he's angry.
And maybe he's angry for other reasons. I am honestly hoping that he listens to this and will comment what he's doing. I am actually looking forward to that. Or text me. I don't care. But he was referring back to, we talked about Akron and their just absolute cluster F of an academic sports program.
Sure.
And he put in his 2 cents, obviously from the perspective of an academic person who believes that colleges should be for, academics.
Oh, he did comment. Okay, great.
Yeah, so he said, I agree with both of you completely. UA, University of Alabama, and sports, UA and sports versus academics. A couple years ago, when the Board of Trustees and the administration at Akron had to choose between academics and football in the wake of a COVID
defecate.
No, that's the poop.
Deficit.
That word was sounding weird coming out of my mouth. They chose to lay off nearly 100 professors rather than demote the football program, which loses $20 million annually to FCS or Division II to make up the deficit. It should be said that there is Division I models for athletics that are still prioritize and academics and actually provide more opportunities for its students to be true student athletes, i.e. he pulls out the Ivy League. They don't give the Ivy League doesn't give any athletic scholarships. They still play in Div 1 FCS. It's not real. And field 33 different varsity sports teams. The other ones are real. 17 men's and 16 women's. Obviously, the one difference is the football team. So it can be done, but most schools and leagues just don't want it. So the reason that I bring that up and find it funny is the University of Akron's really doubling down on a really bad program he's a good coach, don't get me wrong.
He's an okay coach. He's a good offensive-minded
coach,
listen, but he is okay.
2-3 in FCS playoffs under Fordham, and he was 54-35 overall. Thank you very much.
He's an okay coach, but I mean, you're whatever point you were trying to make, you made that Akron is like doubling down on, because if you do get it rolling, it will supplement many things for a university. Like, I can't even begin to even imagine the things that the Alabama football program has bought for the university itself.
Well, yes. I think I'll play devil's advocate here. At that point, those 100 kids on Alabama's football and all of their support staff, which is also another expense, is a source of income, and that's getting away from the point of an actual university, which is to enlighten and research and grow human beings.
But now with GPT, no research is going to have to be done.
And to go back to my first point, which you clearly ignored, humans adapt. Professors will adapt. And if anything, this will weed the chaff out of the situations of just bogusy. And you know what, Uncle Kevin, I didn't take your class. I guarantee you 1 or 2 of your syllabus assignments and papers were unnecessary. I would like to let you know that
hopefully
right
it
now.
will kind of weed out the...
You're a great professor, though. You have a great professor score.
The classes that you have to take in college that have nothing to do with your degree.
We're going to see academic shift completely.
I
in the
hope
world.
so, because... And at what point does the cost of getting an education come back down?
Once the government stops paying for it. And by stops paying for it, I mean actually stops offering student loans. The number one provider of student loans in America is the United States federal government.
Right, is Sally Mae, right? Fannie Mae, whatever it's called.
Whichever one it is.
Okay, well, we've gotten a very non-sports...
We're going to wrap it up. Oh, here. Okay, hold on.
Uh-oh.
We're going to run over here.
Okay. Are you going to have
in
GPT?
a few sentences.
Okay.
Write a wrap-up. Write a closing for a sports podcast.
Oh, yeah. Let me hear this.
And that's a wrap for today's episodes of our sports podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy our analysis, commentary, and predictions. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. Keep joining us again next week for more exciting sports news and discussions. And until then, keep cheering for your favorite team and players, and may the best team win.
Wash your hands, you filthy animals.
We're going to turn this on. Guys, it's been the 4th and 1 podcast.
Wasn't half bad, though. It was actually pretty good.
Bad.
Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at 4th and 1 podcast. Wash your hands, you filthy animals. God bless. Peace out.